Hey guys, Trevy the Great here with another battle report. Sorry again that I haven't been getting these up very often. There's been some bad weather in my area, and it's cutting off a lot of people from playing games, and especially at my local game store, there hasn't been a lot of activity recently. But I did go the other day, and although there was a pretty heavy snowfall out, there was another opponent for me to play against with a painted army, which is excellent. And I brought my Tau, which are now all painted. Just a side note on these models, this army will be for sale. I just am not a big fan of the playstyle, but I just got to paint up some more options for some of the vehicles, and that I'll get some pictures and a video up of that for more information. So, this is a 40k game, obviously. Capture and control, spearhead. My list consisted of 3 hammerhead gunships with multi-trackers, fletchet dischargers, disruption pods, and target locks, even though the target locks did not really come into play this game. I had a Pathfinder squad with the Devilfish, 2 6-man Fire Warrior squads with Devilfish, and then a 7-man Fire Warrior squad that would take the Pathfinder's Devilfish. And then supporting that, I had 10 Kroot, 3 individual Crisis battlesuits with plasma rifles and missile pods, and as well as multi-trackers and a shield drone. And I had a Crisis commander with a burst cannon and a plasma rifle, although I think in the future I will take a missile pod because burst cannons are not as effective as I thought they were. My opponent roughly, although I don't really have his list in front of me right now, but roughly he had a Furioso Dreadnought with 2 Blood Talons. He had 3 land speeders in a squadron, which I thought was sort of strange, 2 of which had Typhoon missile launchers, which are not shown on the models, but we use them anyway. He had a Ball Predator, and Mephiston, Dante, and 2 units of Sanguinary Guard, and because he had Dante in the army, those counted as troops choices. One of the units of Sanguinary Guard, as well as Dante, were deep striking in, so they're not pictured here. So this is after the first turn. My opponent took the first turn, and basically just moved up. Not much happened in his turn. He did a wound to one of my battle suits with his Ball Predator, but nothing else really occurred. In my turn, however, I lighted up the land speeders with my Markolites because I was afraid that they were going to start popping my tanks with their missile launchers, and I took 2 of them out with fire from my railguns. My lone little Fire Warrior squad piled into the Pathfinder Devilfish and started zooming up to my top left of the board there, and everything basically just moved around. Not much really happened. As you can see, in my opponent's second turn, he rolled up deep striking for Dante and his buddies, and they deep strike right next to these Pathfinders, ready to wreck some face with their crazy power weapons of doom. Everything else pretty much just moved up. He popped some missiles off, some hunter killers from various vehicles and things, but he didn't actually kill anything. He fired at the Pathfinders with the Sanguinary Guard, but I was awesome and made all of my cover saves for that squad, so nobody died. And that was pretty much it for that turn, so it went to me. So as you can see in my second turn, I got one of my Fire Warrior teams and its Devilfish in from reserve, and they moved up to the side of that Predator there to try to get some burst cannon shots off the side there. Although they didn't really need it because after withstanding a fusillade of fire from those battlesuits and the Devilfish, one of the hammerheads over there in the side was able to get a side armor shot on the Predator and wrecked it. Although Mephiston was still really hiding in the back, so I couldn't shoot at him, so that was sort of worrisome because Mephiston is completely capable of destroying most of my army. Pretty much everything else shot at the Sanguinary Guard squad, and I ended up killing a whole one of them, except for one of the railguns, which fired at the last land speeder and destroyed that, which was good because I had no more pesky land speeder shooting me. So this is after turn 3. As you can see, I've got my second Fire Warrior team in, and it's Devilfish, which is pretty much following in the footsteps of the first one. Both have been assaulted, one by Mephiston, who missed all of his attacks, and the other one by the Sanguinary Guard. Only one Sanguinary Guard actually hit. I think he had a Power Fist, and he was only able to shake the crew, so I couldn't shoot next turn. But I didn't really care because burst cannons do crap anyway. In the back, he's also attacked one of my other Devilfish with his Dreadnought, which has lost one of its Blood Talons from a railgun shot, and has been unsuccessful in doing any damage over there. and his Sanguinary Guard are trying to move up to take my objective. So at the end of turn 4, I'm basically trying to play a delaying action to stop his Sanguinary Guard from coming in and wrecking my face and killing pretty much everything. I've basically tank shocked his Sanguinary Guard as far away from my objective as possible, and moved my Kroot in to take it because the end of the game's coming up. He assaulted the Hammerhead and failed to do anything, but took some fire from that Crisis suit that I had in reserve. That was a Kamikaze suit with Twin Lake Fusion Blasters. That deep strike earlier in the game, but mishapped and ended up in the back of my corner of the table. As you can see on the other side of the board, Mephiston's trying to move up, and I'm basically trying to hold him off as best I can with those Crisis suits. He's already killed one of them, and the commander and the other one are shooting him as much as they can with Plasma Fire. I've done 3 wounds, so he's almost down, but I am not happy about where he is, because he could do some serious damage from his standpoint. So here's the end of turn 5. We rolled to see if the game kept going, but it unfortunately did not. A lot of stuff happened here. My Devilfish up there in the top center was moving away from his Dreadnought. I failed to kill the Dreadnought or do any serious damage besides taking off 1 arm, but I figured if I got that Devilfish back, I had a pretty good chance of taking my objective back after his Sanguinary Guard had assaulted and destroyed my entire Kroot squad, which was unfortunate. I did end up killing the Sanguinary Guard squad. I'd taken off multiple models just through small arms fire. I fired at him with my Fusion Blaster, and he tried to save one of his Sanguinary Guard by putting the wound on Dante, who had an Iron Halo, and he failed his save, and I killed Dante in 1 shot right there. And then railgun shots and things killed all but 2 models. One of them were killed in assault with the Kroot, and the last one was popped off by a railgun in the last turn. Mephiston also moved up to try to assault the Kroot as well before they were destroyed, but he was out of range. He was fired at by the plasma and railguns and things, and he was also killed. So I wiped everything else on that near my objective, which was good, although I didn't have any troops choices. On the other side of the board, my Cunning Pincer movement was able to take that objective. His Sanguinary Guard moved back to take it. However, I was able to tank shock them off with a Devilfish and put that vehicle in between them and the objective, which gave me the objective, and they were too far away to take it. That gave me the game 0-1, which was pretty good, especially considering that I was fighting a very fast, very assaulty force, one that would probably have wrecked my face in any other game. I think I counted up, I had something like 17 kill points which were available in my army, which was insane. So if we'd rolled up Annihilation or something, it would have been a very different game. Some changes I would make to my opponent's army, where I'm playing his, were that I just, honestly, I do not see Sanguinary Guard lists working almost at all, because every time I see them, they tend to get shot to death, or some such. I mean, he could have taken my army very easily if he'd taken a bunch of units of 5 or 10 Assault Marines with Melta-Guns or something, and just pulverized each one of those tanks in turn, but he just didn't have enough units to you know, control the board as easily as I did. I think we'll make a couple changes in my list. My Crisis Commanders weren't too effective, so I could switch some upgrades on them, and I was spending a lot of points on upgrades for my Hammerheads, most notably target locks, but I moved my Hammerheads 12 inches every turn, at least, in order to make it harder to strike them in close combat, and as such, they were only firing their railguns anyway. So, I hope you enjoyed. Again, this Tau army is for sale if you really want one, and I'll get some pictures of that later. So take care, folks. I hope to get another couple of these to you over the next coming weeks.